not too rushed though. It's thorough enough that everybody has the content.
Yeah, beautiful guys. So, awesome boot camp. Thank you very much for all, I guess, giving up your time on a Saturday morning and I guess putting in that extra effort and while we run these seminars and while we run these 6-week challenges to make sure that you guys have that platform to go off and to continue your goals and not just keep being in that repetitive motion of going to the gym. We all love health and fitness. It's very easy to get stuck into that repetitive nature. So really well done on taking that next step and committing to your next 6 weeks. These seminars are something that we really feel set us apart to what a lot of other challenges do. How we structure and how we run this is to give you the most education, the most knowledge that we can possibly give you. So you guys aren't just doing these crazy workouts, jumping up and down and working up a huge sweat. You're actually learning and developing and I guess gaining knowledge. The more knowledge that we can pass across to you guys from what we've been doing for the last 10 years, 15 years, if we can shorten that and give you these key points of advice, you guys are going to be better off. So today we're going to go through our goal setting. And as we've mentioned, everything is filmed, so this will all be sent to you every single week. If you can't make something, we want to provide you with that content. For us, this is an open forum. As much as we go through everything today, you're going to probably have a lot of questions or a lot of thoughts going through your head of, oh, I can't eat dairy, or when I go to the gym, I can't do this. When we're in a big group of people, although it's direct, it's hard to stop those I questions. Try and broaden things a little bit more of, I find when I eat this, does anyone else get that too? We want to try and collectively come together and work as a group here as much as possible, guys. So again, thank you very much for coming this morning. We'll kick off with our goal setting.
All right, guys, so the goal setting, Nick and I will sort of bounce off each other throughout this, but the goal setting allows you to have something that's measurable or specific to work for in the challenge. So everybody's going to want to be fitter, but what is fitness to each individual? So this allows us to sort of map that out and make it a little bit more specific for you guys. You'd imagine we're going to figure out what our goal is and sort of work back from there, or map it out back from there. If any questions along the way, please yell out to us. The particular goal setting that we're going to be doing is, you might have heard of 7 in the past, like your smarter goal setting. This one's called Henry and his 5 wives. Henry's 5 wives is his how, and then his who, what, when, where, and why. All of those specific questions allow us to map back or make it rather specific what we want to be working for with our challenge. So just if we're going to, sorry as well guys, we've had to print this out just because of the projector. But it starts out, guys, what are our goal setting? What is our goals? So what does the 6 weeks look like for you guys? We're going to have a range of capabilities, a range of goals, a range of opinions of what people would like to be trying to achieve. It could be as much as trying to establish more of a routine. It could be as much as losing 20 kilos. It could be as much as putting on 5 kilos of mass. It could be as much as eating on a more of a consistent basis. It could be that your fitness levels have gone to another level. So we're trying to, and each individual is going to be different. For some of you, it might be all of those things, or some of those things. So being able to sit down and make that a little bit more specific today is our goal. So first of all, guys, if you got your goal setting template there, obviously name at the top. Have a little think about what your goal is for the next 6 weeks. If it is a few things, if it's one particular thing, actually have a think about that, write it down, and asking yourself when you are writing it, is that measurable for yourself? So if for an example for that, it's like, I want to be fitter. What is fitter to you? Oh, I can go to a class in the morning and a class in the afternoon. Is that...
I want to eat healthier. Is eat healthier for you not eating takeaway 5 times a week and bring it to 3 times? For someone else, that may be eating takeaway 0 a month. We're all going to be at different stages and different levels, so really try and make that, as Eli said, measurable but specific. What does that mean for you? We've got different age groups. Some of you might be at university full-time living at home. Some of you might have 5 kids and have to run around every single day, and coming to the gym 3 times a week is a huge goal. Amazing, but we're all on different stages and different levels throughout our journey.
It can be super simple, it can be rather complex, just as long as you've got a bit of an idea in your head about what that looks like. This could be a goal that sets you up for a long-term goal as well, that goes bigger than the 6 weeks. It lays a platform for that. This is what you're also reminding yourself of on the days or in the mornings where the alarm goes off and you don't want to get up. It's why are you doing it? It can be in the middle of your workout and you're looking for those excuses to want to stop, but it can be that little catalyst that keeps you going. You're attaching something to it that's got value to yourself that you want to achieve. You look pretty finished from there. The next question that we ask ourselves is how important is that on a scale of 1 to 10? So 10 being the most important and 1 being the least. Always a good indication to be asking yourself this question, guys, because if it isn't of as much importance to yourself, it's probably on high enough in the scale, probably not important enough to you. And chances are, if it's not important enough to you, there's going to be stages where it's really easy to throw that in. So for us, we always like to try and be getting an 8+. Certain things are going to come into play, your work, family, other things come into play that sort of will trump our goals, and that's going to be our life essentially. But just making sure that you have a bit of an idea and understanding about how important that is for yourselves. And if it isn't right up there, why is it not? And if it isn't, what's stopping you from being that 8, that 9, or that 10?
Do you have that support around you at home, at work? Do other people know about your goals? Are you making this broader than just writing it down on a piece of paper or just in your head, or is it known to your family and friends? If I've got this big goal and it's a 9 out of 10, and Eli every Friday's like, bro, let's go to the pub. Saturday, let's go to the pub. Probably not a great environment for me to be around if that's an 7 out of 10 for me, and it's constantly getting dragged back down and it ends up being a 5 over time. Am I being realistic with myself in that number?
Sort of from there. All right, so our next is obviously when. So when we like to achieve this goal by. Most of you it will be the 6 weeks, end of the 6-week challenge. Some of your goals may be continuing on from there. So that can be something, and once again, it could be, I know someone's got a wedding coming up. Someone's going away on a holiday that we know of, and those dates probably continue a little bit post the 6-week challenge, but actually having a date in mind. And the reason why that date's good is because it actually sets some accountability and drive around that and forces us to try and achieve that in that particular time frame.
So those that don't know, it's Friday the 29th of April, the challenge ends. If that's a date you've got something in and around.
And you can know if you've got a set goal and you're halfway towards that time frame and we're not where we need to be, we can adjust that a little bit. Reflecting on that, okay, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z to be able to make sure that I can achieve that in that set time frame. Or you can be halfway through the challenge and you can be sailing and you know you've got that confidence and that reassurance that you are on the right track.
For many reasons, you've all signed up to the challenge for a reason or another. It's very unlikely it's like, oh, yep, I'll just join this for no reason. There's going to have to be something in the background of your head talking to yourself of, all right, you're going to have to sort of be a 7, 8, 9 out of 10 to do the challenge. When would you like to achieve this? There's something going on in your head to push you to want to do more. It might be that accountability. It might be that set date. You might have just looked in the mirror a week ago and you just went, what the fuck am I looking at? You can be in a whole different stage of your journey. We want you guys to be able to, I guess, put that into a little bit more of a, keep yourself accountable and put something on the end of it.
Does anybody like to share their particular goals for the 6 weeks at all? Don't have to, but if you would like to make them public. Chris?
Create a new habit and develop a routine of returning to training, mental health and physical health.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Right. And what does that look like for you in regards to routine?
Stop drinking so much piss.
All right.
Stay away from your mate DJ.
Guys, if you don't mind, can I share what you do for a job? So Chris owns a restaurant, or owns a bar and a restaurant. As you imagine, every time you're at work and a friend comes in or a mate comes in, for him, work, a new client comes in, a new drink is sold. That's what you do your entertaining. Like to you to stop drinking would be just saying no all day, every day, at work. Same thing with you, Kirsty. Lunches, selling, it's part of what you do. So it might be, creating new habits and routines, that's great.
The environment for support, mate.
Pardon?
You're in the environment for support.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so who are you doing this 6-week challenge for, guys? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for a partner? Are you doing it for work? Is there something that comes to mind for yourselves? And if it isn't, it's so too specific, that's fine. But you can have, once again, we've got somebody's got a wedding coming up, and I know that for himself, obviously for his partner, be shining on his wedding day. It's pretty fast on that one, guys. We won't stand for too long. The next one is where you would like to see changes. Now, this can be from visual. On your, say, body, for instance, you want to be able to say, I'd like to be able to lose more weight in my midsection. I'd like to be able to build more muscle mass in my arms. It could be as simple as, I'd like to see more change within my lifestyle, and that being my routine on a daily basis. So that can be a little bit more broader than, I guess, that visual, but also within our lifestyle as well. Those habits that we were speaking about just before. If you can, make it a bit more specific again. So what does that routine look like? That's training 4 times a week. That's being able to implement a run, a weight session, and my food's perfect Monday to Friday. Something that's specific and measurable again for yourself, that you get to look back at this and make sure that you're on the right track and holding yourself accountable to do so.
Look at your sleep, guys, look at your food, those choices that you make.
If anyone has any questions as well, please yell out at any stage. If you're thinking that maybe somebody else is as well.
Definitely they are.
Once you've done that, guys, just flip it over. So this is the why question now, guys, and this is pretty important. It's why do you want to achieve this? What's your driving factor or your motivating factor? This is when you're having a bad day, things aren't going to how you want them to be going. The plan for the day is completely out the door, and you need to be able to come back to this and remind yourself as to why you want to be doing it. And we're all going to have days that don't go to plan. This is when you're in the middle of your boot camp, you're out of breath, you're feeling like you want to stop, and you're reminding yourself why you want to keep on going again. Is that attachment to the goal now? A bit more personal.
Have we got any whys? Does anyone want to share their why?
Headspace.
Better headspace? Day to day, more consistent headspace.
Yeah, just waking up and feeling better.
Beautiful.
Mine's just like the continuation of my journey. Like a lot of you know, like my journey's been like long, but I don't want to stop where I am. I've still got a way to go. So it's just the continuation of my journey.
Beautiful.
And some of you may not find a why today, a specific why. This is something you can take home and reflect on as well, guys. All right, next question. Is there or has there ever been anything in the past that's prevented you from being able to achieve your goals? And what I mean by that is, can your work hours, you're meant to finish at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you know you're going to the gym at 5:30 and work's gone for longer? Is it the kids need to be picked up after school? Is it you've got exams come along and then everything else becomes on the back burner and you're just studying for your exams?
Do your family and friends not support you? Do they think it's weird that you go to the gym twice a week or 3 times a week?
Are you finding that you're going out on a Friday and a Saturday in these social settings and you're finding it hard to say no? These are all, I guess, factors that come into play that can, I guess, change that projection of our 6-week challenge or our goals. So it's being aware of those scenarios. What does it look like when those scenarios do come along? Are they controllable by yourself or are they uncontrollable? If they are uncontrollable, what does that look like for you the next day? Is that you are realistic with yourself and understand that it is more than normal that life gets in the way, and the saying of being back on the horse the next day? Or is it letting that bad moment flow into another day of, I guess, lack of consistency? Is it, if you are going out in these social settings, to understand, okay, well, what is my boundary for myself? Putting yourselves in those positions and understanding what that looks like. So you've got those foundations throughout the 6-week challenge, and I guess understanding what those patterns can be. They're all going to happen to all of us.
Is there a common theme between us all? Has anyone got the same, or want to share what theirs is? Is it friends that keep twisting your arm, and you might go to the gym Monday to Thursday amazingly, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is just nothing, then you miss Monday, work shit, week turns into the same week after the same week.
Being able to recognise that and pull yourself out of that, and understanding why you're doing what you're doing again comes back to your why.
Eli touched on at the start, the one with, is it controllable, is it not controllable? And I see with a lot of people, a lot of members that I train, is they do get to 5 o'clock and there might still be a little bit of work. There still might be work to finish. Is it sitting down with your boss on Monday and saying, hey Eli, I'm doing a 6-week challenge. For the next 6 weeks, I really need to finish at 5 p.m. or 5:15. Can we put something in place where I start 15 minutes early, but when 5 o'clock hits, I walk out the door? Is that just having an honest conversation? That conversation might go nowhere. It might allow, okay, cool, I might finish at 5:15 for the next 6 weeks. You might be able to get that little win here and there that sets you up for the week. And it might feel like a daunting conversation for some of you, but if your goal's at 8 out of 10, that's the hurdle I've got to sort of step over to make sure that does happen. I might get in an hour early to make sure I finish 10 minutes early. If my goal's that big, that's probably what I'm going to have to do.
We can create those new habits and skills in this next 6 weeks that continue on from here. If you're always letting those reasons get in the way, it can be something that breaks that consistency, and we can be good for 2 weeks, drop the ball for a week, back for good for 2 weeks. We're going to try to create as much consistency as we can in those 6 weeks for your goals, guys. The last question here, I have a few questions, and it's I guess specific to each individual, but how do you achieve this during the Pinnacle Fitness 6-week challenge? So what tools are going to be needed for you to be able to achieve that? If it is weight loss, is it making sure your nutrition's on point, you're getting X amount of classes per week, you're doing an extra run, you're tracking your calories? What is it? If it's routine, what does that routine look like? Do you start off on 3 times a week for the first 2 weeks? Does it go to 4 times a week for the next 2 weeks? And does it go for 6 times a week for the last 2 weeks? Is it you're going to need more support?
You might be doing classes, you might be amazing at attending classes, but when it comes to doing your own workouts, it's nerve-wracking and scary to go on the gym floor. Is it talking to one of us to get a program set up for you? That way your times are more flexible. You're not just dictated by a class, but you can come in and use the gym Monday to Sunday. Is it trying to get that 5K run in? Is it trying to start at 1 kilometre? Is it trying to find a buddy to get that 1 kilometre in with you?
Is it being accountable to yourself? And for us guys, it's you can write all this down and then you can not look at it for the next 6 weeks. You want to try and make it something that has an attachment. You've got an attachment to your goals, and you feel like you've got a map towards how you can achieve that. And if not, please let us know, and if we can see us after this to make it more specific, or you're confused, please come and see us, guys. This might be something that changes over the weekend as well. Does anyone have any questions or anything like that? No?
One of the biggest things I think you can do is, yes, stick this on your fridge, photocopy it, take a photo of it. I know Rel had it on her, Rel had the timetable on her screensaver for the last 6-week challenge. Might be taking a photo of your little goal and setting as your screensaver, your lock phone. Might be going home and telling your partner and sitting down with your partner, your mum, your dad, your friend, whoever. You might just have housemates, going over this with them and saying, hey, Friday nights is my weakness. Every time the football's on, all I want to go is go drink beers. That's all I want to do. What is it that I need to stop doing that? All right, I know at work I drink and eat shit. How do I stop that? What is it? Is it me taking food to work? Is it talking to the chef at work and saying, hey, when I go to order, you can't cook me anything bar this. I don't care what I say. You have to put these things in place. And if that's at 8 out of 10, you are going to do those things. And if you're not going to do those things, it's probably not an 8 or 9 out of 10. You're probably just telling yourself that.
Well, that's pretty much our goal setting seminar, guys. So you've got your content on here as well that you can take home with you if you need to. You'll also receive it in the email. So it is a digital. You've got this content as well. You can change your goals 6 weeks, half into the challenge if you're finding that you're on path to where you need to be going. If you're finding that it is a little bit harder to achieve that goals in the 6 weeks, you've still got it as well. And you can always come back to this. And those questions that we've asked allows you to map it out, and that can be applied to pretty much any stages in your life, guys.
Has anyone got anything they'd like to share? We've got a little bit of a setup and a little bit of a break here before we swap over. Has anyone got anything they'd like to share, or anything you'd like the group to keep you accountable on? Whether it be your end date, whether it be your goal, whether it be a little, even minute part of your goal.
No? You do?
Go on, Mel.
I have a, I don't know if it's a problem, but I go too hard too fast, and I will do every class possible and just go like a mad woman, and then burn out all in a heap. So for me, it's about consistency, and I don't know, just trying to maintain the level, because I feel like I did that with the 8-week challenge. I kicked goals and I succeeded, but I got to the end and I just fell in a heap and kept eating chocolate. And it was the only thing that would make me feel better. So it's that consistency, and it's a mental thing for me. Like, I know that I can do it and I know that I can achieve, but it's that consistency and understanding that it's not just about 6 weeks or 8 weeks, that it's actually lifestyle, and being realistic about that.
Definitely.
It's good to be able to recognise that and put that into perspective. understand what you need to do.
Yeah.
So what does that look like now? What are you going to do?
So I used to become really recluse and like say to my friends, I'm not going out, like I'm not having a drink, and I'd fully recluse away, and everyone would be like, oh, what's going on with you? So now I'm like, this is what I'm doing, support me on it. It's okay for me to go out for dinner and not have a glass of wine, and that's my choice. So I'm being really vocal about it. And in actual fact, it's inspiring some of my friends to go, oh, it's okay to do that. So yeah, I'm just being that person.
What
It's
you
not
just said,
easy.
No, what you just said then, honestly, everyone's thinking the same thing. No one really wants to share their goals, but I promise you, you're all on that same page and bandwagon, I promise.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
Just on that, guys, with the sharing the goals. The first time we did a challenge, one of the people actually set a goal that he needed to be under. He shared it publicly in here, and he wanted to be under 100 kilos, so he goes skydiving, and he ended up winning the challenge. So by making that vocal, there's another guy actually said he wanted to lose 20 kilos in the challenge. He lost 20 kilos, but he still didn't win. So being able to make something a bit more public for yourselves, guys, and being open with it allows you to be a bit more accountable to it as well. And we're not saying that you have to by any means, but just an example, sharing that with your partners or sharing that with us at least, so we know where you're at. It allows us to be able to make sure we know what page, or we can be on the same page as you. Chances are, yep.
Beautiful.
Oh, I've got 3, but they kind of go together a little bit. So lose 6 kilos, 1 a week, fit into a size 12, and habits formed for 5 times a week exercise.
Beautiful. That's a great goal to aim for in the 6 weeks. How do you feel, where you're at the moment in regards to the consistency of your training at the moment?
Awful.
Awful? Okay.
Terrible. Easily distracted.
So what's your
Excuses galore.
pardon me, sorry?
Excuses.
All right.
Heaps of excuses.
What's your first step in your mind at the moment to be able to start getting that routine established?
I think I've just got to plan it out, because those, you know, like I said, easily distracted. So I've just got to plan it out and stick to a plan. So map it out. What are my distractions for the week? And then so I know where my weak points are in my diary, and where I can fit exercise in amongst where those just avoid the weaknesses, and try and lock in a schedule where I don't have as many distractions, try and pop them in, and just try and get my habits that way.
Perfect. And thanks for sharing that. But just on that there, guys, some of us been able to establish that new, I guess, routine. It can be quite forced. You're going from A to B. Now, when we're going from A to B, it feels we're out of our natural pattern of what we do, and it is initially a little bit forced. And it's still committing to it, even when it is forced, guys. Is that's how we create those new patterns and those new routines, and it eventually becomes the normal, and it's a natural pattern that we're in our flow. And then from there, we can start to tighten the screws a little bit more. If you're giving up that time for those extra classes, how hard are you then training? Is it you're doing more throughout that session that you weren't doing before? The flow and effect of there, you're now working harder, you're burning more calories, you're losing more weight. Yeah.
Guys, I've got 2 little things that I want to go over, then we can have a little bit of a break. We're all going to come through a bit of analogy. We're all going to come through little stages over the next 6 weeks where something doesn't go to plan. You're going to go to the gym and your car doesn't start. You're going to have to work late. Kids, whatever. We've got 4 wheels in our car. If I use that, if I have to stay back at work and one of my tyres pops, I don't go home and I order Macca's and pop another tyre. I don't then get dessert and pop another tyre. I then don't stay up late and pop all my tyres. Like, what we do to ourselves is fucking crazy. One tyre's popped, get home, fix the tyre. Beautiful. At the moment, and not poor me and Eli both don't have cars at the moment. So easy for me. I live just up the road. There's so much takeaway. Last thing I want to do is ride to the shops. I'm out having cheeky pokey. Eli's riding back from the shops, getting after a huge day that we had yesterday, just being coal shopping. I get home, I was like, I have to ride to the shops and go coal shopping. Last thing that I wanted to do, but rather than pop that tyre and go, oh, poor me, you're gonna have to repair that tyre and get back on that bandwagon and keep moving forward. The more that you put holes in yourself, these goals are going to absolutely nowhere. You've got to keep yourself accountable on what you want to do. Last thing, Eli got me this for Christmas. I hate watches, I don't like things touching me, it freaks me out. I was thinking in my head, I go to release my partner, I was like, I'm gonna have to tell Eli I'm not gonna wear this watch, and it's expensive. I'm not gonna use it. This is the best thing for my fitness that I've ever had. Calories, steps, time, absolutely everything. Guys, even if it's the most basic, cheapest thing, get yourself something that even tracks your calories a little bit and manages your steps. I know my calories pretty well in my head, I know my steps, and I know my food. These things are amazing. If you're really serious, go buy a little cheap one, jump on Marketplace and get a second-hand one. This one's a Garmin and it's phenomenal.
What it does, guys, it gives you a measuring tool. And so a measuring tool can be, someone says, oh, I get lots of steps in my day, but you can get them to track their steps and they're getting, I'll just give you an example, guys. If you're not getting, say, 10,000 steps throughout your day, it's not classified as being, I guess, active. And if you can see that you consistently get 8,000 steps a day, and you're sitting down for most of the day and you're maybe getting one class in a day, it's probably not going to be enough exertion if it is, say, a weight loss goal. I know for myself, I try to be at 1,500 calories at 12 o'clock by lunchtime. So for myself, I know that I should hit 3,000 calories by the end of my day. If I'm not at 1,500 calories before 12 o'clock, I know that I need to be doing more work in order to do so. I've actually got a measuring tool on a daily basis that allows me to be able to track or measure exactly where I'm at. Then I can then control how much food's coming into my mouth. So I've got a good indication of what's going, what my body's exerting, and then also what's actually being consumed. Very measurable for us.
Taylor's going to talk about calories and macros. If you haven't heard those words before, it's just breaking down pretty much what your food contents are. So we'll take a break now, guys. If you want to grab a drink, go to the bathroom, just get some fresh air. Taylor's got a little bit to set up. I'll grab her, set the camera up, and we'll get into it. Beautiful, guys.